got some more questions from our patrons, TK. I love this one. Miri said, I recently thought that when I look at certain items in a store, they actually make me sad. I've started calling them sad items, she says. Those are items that I know look really shiny and cool and scream to be bought. But for certain reasons, they're not appealing to me at all. Because I know from experience that I would tire of them very soon. I'm wondering if you have anything that you would call a sad item when you see it in a store. Does anything stand out to you? First, talk to me about this concept of sad items. I love this perspective because it can only be gained through a certain experience, the wisdom that is gained through experience, because she's saying, I see these items and they're shiny and I know I kind of want them, but I also know the repercussions.
Oh, man. So there is a word for that, but we have to remove the property from the item and put it back into your soul. And it's called discernment. It's called wisdom. It's seeing with the mystic eye, right? You look at a path that lies before you and you say, oh, I know where that leads. I don't want to go there. You look at the path of possibility. And even though the world says, that's scary, there's a monster down that path. We don't go in the dark. You don't know what's going to happen next. And you say, I can feel the joy of my soul calling me in that direction. I know people who are a lot healthier than me and sometimes I can get there where they even think about eating a certain type of food. It's kind of like the analogy you use. Like if I thought about eating a bag of rocks, like there is no temptation to eat a bag of rocks. The thought of eating it makes me feel bad, right? And there are moments where someone can say, imagine drinking whatever. Imagine eating, and we feel like throwing up right there in the moment because it is in such disagreement with our appetite. In a similar way, we all have an internal navigation system. And when we are in tune with that, we can look at foods, we can look at possessions, and we can see past the story that other people are selling us about that thing. And we can say, oh no, I want nothing to do with that. Really quickly, there's this Instagram reel I have to show you sometime. This guy, he does a lot of poking fun at influencers. And this dude puts on the most ridiculous little outfits, right? Like he'll have like 2 hangers and one on each ear for his earrings. He'll have garbage bags, covering his feet for his boots. And he does not break character. And his narration is gold. He describes what he's wearing with the sophistication of the greatest fashion designer. And it's hilarious because you're looking at what he's wearing and you could see that it's ridiculous, but his narrative is so good that you can't help but laugh. And I think this kind of discernment is like that. You hear the narrative and it's good, but you're so in tune with your own soul, you can't help but laugh at the stories that people are trying to use to convince you to buy things that you don't need.
Yes. This makes me think of 3 different sad items that I'd like to acquire at first glance, but then I realize it would not be a great decision for me. The first one is pizza. I enjoy pizza. I watch Dave Portnoy's. My family and I sit down and we watch the One Bite Pizza reviews together.
I love those.
We'll usually do one a day. Maybe not on average, but maybe one every other day. We'll just sit down and spend 5 minutes and then we're all guessing the score and it looks so delicious. And I'm just salivating and I want the pizza, but also I know how bad that will make me feel if I eat it. I have a gluten sensitivity. I can't eat dairy. It would be delicious for a moment, but it's not worth the price of admission. The second thing is also not worth the price of admission for me, and it is a 1992 Range Rover. And I think it's a work of art. I think it's the most beautiful car that's ever been made. The Town and Country, it is stunning. And sometimes you see some of them that are modified and they're just, it's a beautiful work of art. But they also have a reputation of bleeding on the lot brand new. Like they would just leak oil like crazy. They'd break down all the time. Yeah. And so we often think about the fear of missing out, right? Because truth be told, I could afford to buy a 1992 Range Rover and I could even afford to put some money into it to restore it a bit. But I know it's going to break down on me. It's going to be unreliable. It's probably going to be uncomfortable. And it's not as beautiful as I think. So now I think about the virtue of missing out. What am I gaining by not bringing that thing into my life? Well, first off, I'm gaining my time. I'm gaining the sense of calm of not having to constantly work on a broken down car, especially if it's my daily driver. I'm gaining the I'm gaining the space I would have, because otherwise I have to have a place to store it if it's not my daily driver. So now I'm going to spend more money on it. So I'm gaining all of the money that I would otherwise spend on the maintenance of this thing and the insurance payments and everything else. But I'm also gaining a level of appreciation. I am able, there's two in my in my town up in Ojai, and they're beautiful. And I will stop and stare at them like you would look at a Picasso painting.
Yeah.
They are stunning. And I look at that and say, I'm so glad that's here. And also, I'm so glad I don't have to keep up with the maintenance. I don't have to own that thing. And so I don't look at it in a sad way anymore. I look at it with gratitude. Like I say, oh yeah, I can appreciate that without needing to acquire it.
Yeah. You're making me think about, the song, "The Best Things in Life Are Free." The moon belongs to everyone. The best things in life are free. There really is a way to take the whole world and put it inside of ourselves if we can learn to enjoy it without possessing it. Oh my gosh, that idea of possession. Isn't it so interesting that it's the same word that exorcists use for a demon that's hijacked a human soul? And we use that to indicate our relationship to things whereby they come under our ownership. But sometimes, when we walk along the beach, we're just reminded that we got the least nice place in terms of size and aesthetics, right? Because all the other ones are these big, beautiful mansions. I would be so miserable living there if every time I walked past those houses, I thought, man, they're so beautiful. I wish I had one. Too bad that I don't have one. But I never feel like that. I walk past and I go, I get to live right by this. Like, this is where I live. Like, I don't own that house. I don't possess it. But in a certain way, I do possess it. Like, the whole ocean is mine. All the sand is mine. This too is mine. And I get to be in this presence every day. And those things that are on the shelf that you can't afford, that you don't need to get, you can think about the fact that they are valuable to somebody else. That's a happy item for somebody else. And now you get to enjoy the very best of that without having to make yourself sad by buying that.
Yeah. The last item I have is simple. Anything from IKEA is a sad item to me. Because you can go there and you're like, in fact, if you get trapped in that maze, last episode or 2 episodes ago, 506, I talked a bit about last time I had to go to IKEA to pick some stuff up. I go in to use the bathroom, not realizing it's at the entranceway. So I go up the escalator, and as soon as you go up the escalator at the IKEA in Burbank, you're stuck. You're in the store now. You're in the maze and you're not allowed to leave. IKEA is hell on earth when that happens.
No easy way out, escalator down?
There is not an escalator down. There are stairs that can take you downstairs, but you have to go through the downstairs maze still. And then you have to go through all the products and the boxes. And as I'm walking through this, 2 things are happening. One is I'm seeing items like, oh, I think I'd kind of like that. And so I'm going through what Mary went through. It's like, oh yeah, but wait. I don't have space for that. I don't really want it. I'm going to have to get rid of it later. I have to get rid of something else in order to replace it with this. Well, why do I think I want that? That's kind of a sad item. But then also as I'm walking through there, it's like inevitable that a dozen people will recognize me. And they're like, "Minimalist, what are you doing here?" I'm like, I swear I'm not buying anything. I was just using the restroom. I was there to actually pick up. I had to pick up a comforter. And I was there to pick it up, but it wasn't ready. And so I go in to use the bathroom and I end up... People were taking pictures with me. People were taking pictures of me, like minimalist spotted at IKEA. And it's like, hey, I don't think there's anything wrong with IKEA, except there is something wrong with IKEA for me. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be trapped there. I want to avoid it at all costs. So next time I need something from my IKEA, Savvy D, you're headed over there for me.
I wish TMZ were there.
It'd be the worst TMZ video.
Thanks for watching this highlight. If you'd like to check out another one, you can watch this clip here. Or if you'd like to watch the full episode for this highlight clip, you can check out this one here. Or you can dive into the full private podcast by subscribing via the Patreon link in the description for this video. Your Patreon support is what helps keep this podcast 100% advertisement free.